Hello everyone, and welcome to this information session dedicated to the Monaco MBA at the International University of Monaco. My name is Mario Damiani. I'm with the admissions team of the university, and I'm the admission manager dedicated to this program. I'm with the program director, Professor Marika Taishov. Hello, Marika.
Hello, Mario.
So this event is made up of two parts. A short but complete presentation of the program made by the program director, together with a presentation of the admission process, followed by time for all your questions. So there's a lot of attendees today, and we're waiting to receive many questions from you. It's the occasion you have to discuss directly with the program director and clarify any doubts you're having. Actually, there's already a very good number of enrolled students, so it's time for you also to collect information and finalize your decision. So I think that we're ready to start, Marika, and the floor is yours.
Great, thank you very much, Mario, and welcome to everyone who's following this webinar. So you've all thought about doing an MBA, clearly, and you're probably wondering why do it at Monaco? Why do it in Monaco at IUM? Well, there are many reasons, but there are 5 key reasons, which you can see on the screen. One is you're able to learn from what's really unique about Monaco. Monaco has a unique ecosystem in terms of luxury management, in terms of wealth management, in terms of finance, and also in terms of entrepreneurship. It's a highly entrepreneurial place, always has been, and it's really beginning to attract more and more entrepreneurs for a variety of reasons. Another reason to do the Monaco MBA is that you can follow it either in 10 months or in 20 months. So if you want to come here and be here full-time, the full-time program, 10-month program is for you. If your job or your family or other constraints make that difficult for you, you're able to follow it in part-time mode, either residentially or synchronously online. The program has been accredited by AMBA for many years. It's the Association of MBAs, and certainly have a look at any MBA program you're studying right now to make certain it's accredited. And we're also accredited by AACSB. So these are the 2 leading accreditation bodies, AMBA for the MBA program, AACSB for a business school overall. We have a very well thought through, very developed, very intensive career and professional and personal development program. You'll have your own coach, your own executive coach, as you go through your studies, because again, you're doing an MBA in order to become a better professional, whether it's in the corporate field, whether it's as an entrepreneur. So that's part and parcel of the MBA curriculum. And we're also ranked amongst the top 100 global MBA programs by The Economist and by other ranking bodies. Okay, where? Monaco is very special. I don't know if you've visited Monaco, if you're based in Monaco, but it's a very dynamic, very diverse, very commercially active and dynamic environment. Lots of companies are here. Lots of different congresses and conferences are here. Obviously we have the yacht show, but there's also the anti-aging conference. There's clean equity, the EY Entrepreneur Award, Global Entrepreneur Award. So basically Monaco attracts many high-level congresses and conferences. And as MBA students, you are able to attend many of them, in fact. And of course, it's all on the Riviera, which is not a bad place to be. And if you can't come to Monaco, you can also participate in the online program. In that sense, you'll need to spend 4 weeks in Monaco residentially. Okay, next slide, please, Mario. Thank you. Okay, the who, we have the what, the where, and the who. Well, the faculty is internationally renowned in their field. We have really well-renowned experts across a host of various disciplines and topics. We also have many visiting faculty who come here because they like to, shall we say, interact with our MBA students. They like the multicultural environment. So we've had visiting faculty from Judge School of Business at Cambridge University, for instance, from INSEAD, from Bocconi, etc. So really we at IMD, etc. In addition to faculty, you will also have mentors. So as an MBA student, if you want, you have the right to have a mentor who is going to be specifically selected for you with our Director of Corporate Relations and the Executive Coach. And they're going to have a look at your profile, talk to you at length, and try to determine, okay, what do you want to get out of the MBA? Where do you see yourself in a few years' time? And who would be the best professional highly successful professional, who would be the best entrepreneur, who would be the best investor for you to interact with on a regular basis. It's outside of the classroom. It's not graded or anything like that. It's just basically to develop a relationship with a very seasoned professional or entrepreneur in the field that you think you want to go into. So it's an exchange of ideas, a sounding board, so to speak, for you and for the mentor, because the mentors like dealing with their MBA students because you're bright, you're young, you're ambitious, you come from all over the world, etc. And as I mentioned, you will have a dedicated career and executive coach, and she arranges many different events, mock hiring, mock business plan presentations. You get to meet with various recruiters at a very high level. So, the who is a combination of faculty, permanent faculty, visiting faculty, also faculty who are, shall we say, adjunct, who come from the professions. So in other words, somebody giving a course on venture capital would be a venture capitalist, for instance. Someone giving a course on sustainable luxury is both a PhD as well as consults with Chanel, for instance. So we also like to bring in all the time the professional eye, the professional expertise, so it's not overly theoretical. Okay, the how, I already mentioned it briefly, and I'll go over it in a bit more detail as well. So they're basically two modes. One is residential, and that is typically a full-time program, but we also have part-time students following it residentially. Okay? For instance, we have some people who work in Monaco or nearby, and they prefer following the program in a part-time mode, which is, of course, perfectly acceptable. And it's also, shall we say, distant as well. So in other words, if you can't come here, as I mentioned, because of family obligations, professional obligations, etc., you can follow the program online. We are not an online MBA, however. So in other words, you will have to follow most of the classes synchronously online, and the structure of the program is designed to allow for that. But it's not an online MBA. And also within those 20 months, if you're following it part-time, you'll have to spend 4 weeks in Monaco. And those weeks are very carefully specified at the beginning, even, by the summer. So you'll know exactly which weeks you have to be in Monaco. And these are what we call masterclass weeks. And they're very interactive. Of course, you take classes together with your residential colleagues, but you also have special events, special conferences, etc. during those weeks. Okay, in terms of how the MBA is structured, thematically structured, let's put it that way, there's a big picture, business environment, what's going on in the world. How do we spot opportunities? How do we spot risks to avoid, opportunities to capitalize on? Do we have the cash? How do we finance our growth? How do we get investors on board? People. Basically, human resources. What kind of people do we need? How do we attract them? How do we maintain them? How do we motivate them to really give their best? And then we have the final pillar, which is the integrating it all. And that's when you'll work on a corporate consulting project. It's at the end of the academic year. So if you're doing a residential program 1 year, it'll be the end of June. If you do the part-time program, it's the second year. So end of the second year. And you can either do a corporate consulting project, which is a project which basically is supervised by a partner at a consulting company who's leading the consulting company's Western Europe innovation practice. And he basically will usually find one of his own clients, and they will give they'll give a project to a group of MBA students who are interested in this idea of how do you work as a consultant? How do you work in a team together with a client to reach a specified, shall we say, objective? How do you design a strategy? How do you implement it, etc.? And we've had, projects with Lufthansa. We've had projects with Compagnie Monégasque de Banque. We've had projects with EY itself. We've had, this year we're doing a project with Under Armour, etc. Or you can do an individual business plan. So if you're entrepreneurially minded and you already have an idea for a business you want to set up, or you have a business and you want to grow it, in lieu of the corporate consulting project, you can do the entrepreneurial business plan. So again, basically attracting both profiles, those who are corporate and those who are more entrepreneurial, and we give you the choice of which one of those projects to do, but you must do one of them in order to graduate. It's weighed quite significantly. And also there's the business simulation, which is a week at the end of the academic year where basically you're working together in teams again on a simulation, which is very, very interactive, very dynamic, and students just love it. Okay, so this is sort of a little graphic of the 10-month program. It typically starts at the end of September. or the first week of October, depending. It basically starts just at the end of the Monaco Yacht Show, and that's for logistical reasons, because it's very difficult to get any kind of housing in Monaco or anywhere nearby during the Yacht Show. So it's right after the Yacht Show, and basically it's September to December, then January to June, fall term, spring term. Throughout, as you can see, you have personal and professional development. And in terms of courses, those are basically the pillars. So under the company as ecosystem, there are courses such as marketing strategy, economics for managers, organizational behavior. Under core managerial responsibilities, there are courses such as data and big data, geopolitics. And, beginning in the spring term, again, it's the same basic element in terms of the shall we say, themes, managing a complex environment. You have several courses there, etc. And the 20-month program, it's the same program. Again, if you decide to do the 20-month or the 10-month, it's the same MBA program. You will be interacting with colleagues, if you're a part-time student in the full-time program, if you're a full-time program, colleagues from the part-time program. And basically, obviously, the workload has been cut in half. And again, it's been done, obviously with some thought given to it in terms of which courses do you really need to pass and succeed and excel at before you can move into the second year. Okay. And here we have some data in terms of placement data. So you can get a feel. Basically, 6 months after graduation, 86% of graduates, you can see, are actively working. In terms of those who are actually seeking, a job, again, we have 6 months after graduation and not at graduation, because our MBA program is very intensive, 10 months. And many of the students don't even start looking for a job until they graduate and then take a well-deserved summer break and then start looking for a job. So I know some business schools say, at graduation, it doesn't make sense, because at graduation, some of the students are still, finding a new route in life. They thought they were interested in one industry, and after the MBA, they're interested in another industry because their eyes have been opened, their minds have been opened to something new, which they never knew existed and perhaps didn't even know they liked. So 6 months to us is more of a, shall we say, logical way of looking at placement data. And again, here you can see the functions, the various kinds of functions our students are in, MBA students, MBA graduates, as well as where they are. So some of them remain in Monaco, some are from Monaco or the area, but basically scattered everywhere, basically on every continent, which is also reflective basically of our student body, because the MBA class at IOM is typically extremely diverse in terms of nationality, in terms of gender, in terms of professional background and professional aspirations. So we've had students who are professional athletes, we've had students who are architects, lawyers, doctors, etc. And then we have other students who are, corporate profiles. So extremely diverse, which is part of the learning. Okay, and this is the process. It's actually quite easy. We believe in keeping things simple. So I'll hand it back over to Mario, please. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Marika. As I said at the beginning of the event, the next fall 2024 cohort is filling up quickly. Actually, as Marika said, our cohorts are really diversified in terms of experience, backgrounds, but also in terms of nationalities and culture. So we have 1 or 2 students per nationality, normally no more than that. And it's also a quite small cohort. So we're talking of a class of 25 students approx. So it's time, as I said, for you to start seriously thinking if you want to join the class, also to have time to go through the process and manage the logistics that are involved. How to do the application? Well, it's pretty straightforward. Everything is done online at distance. So you just need to go on our website, www.monaco.edu, click on the always appearing button, Apply Online. You'll be redirected into an application platform where you'll be asked to upload a series of documents that we need to check your profile, understand you better before meeting you during the admission interview. So what we need you to upload are your CV and resume, stating what are your experiences in the terms of work experience and studies as well. As you know, to be eligible for this MBA, you need to own a bachelor degree at minimum and own a minimum of a 3-year professional experience. Then you have to upload your letter of motivation, considering that the process is basically motivational process. This is a very important document that states why the reasons why you would like to join this program, what is your professional path, what you would like to become and develop after this program. So this information that we also be the object of the admission interview with the program director. Third document is a letter of recommendation that can come normally from a professional environment, might be also an academic or another kind of environment which is relevant to your profile. The university degree together with the transcripts of your bachelor, of also of a master in case you want one. So the transcripts are the list of all the exams that you did with your grades and credits. Then we need a passport from you, a picture, the kind of photo that you would use for your ID documents, and the proof of English. The proof of English is a document that it is not strictly needed at the time of the application. So if you don't own one, that's not a problem. You can skip this step and move forward and complete your application. You will need to provide one at latest at the beginning of the MBA that it is scheduled for this year on September the 30th. We accept IELTS, TOEFL, or Cambridge Advanced only. And this test is completely waived in case you've studied your bachelor fully in English or you come from a country where English is the spoken language. The last step is the payment of 80 euros, 80, as application fees. When everything is done, we will check your documents, check if everything is complete, and get back to you, proposing you a time and a date for the admission interview with the program director, which is a 30-minute conversation with Professor Taishov online via Teams. It's a motivational conversation where you will have to introduce yourself, present what your project, your plan, what are the reasons for you to join the master, the MBA, and also the occasion to make some questions to the program director as well, in case you will need to clarify some points. Following that, there's a jury meeting, normally weekly, and assessing all candidates. After that, if you're admitted, you will receive an email confirming your admission and containing a link that allows you to enroll directly. So, as I said, my name is Mario Damiani. I'm the admissions manager dedicated to the MBA. I'm here and ready to reply to all your questions, assist you. You can also book a direct video call with me. You find this solution in our website in the contacts page. I will follow up with you afterwards, so do not hesitate to write me. You find here my email, my direct phone number for any questions you might have. I leave it this slide for a while in case you need to write my contacts down. And I'm also today with my colleague Audrey with the admissions team. Hello, Audrey. And Audrey
Hello.
is managing your questions. So this is the time to write them down in the Q&A section. We've been managing all of them. So I'll leave the word to you, Audrey.
Thank you very much, Mario, and thank you very much, Marika, for this very interesting presentation. So we already have a question from one of our participants, Axel, who wants to know more about the letter of recommendation. What can you tell us, Marika? What will be your tips for a good recommendation letter, and who should it come from?
Okay, excellent question. Basically, what we're looking for in the recommendation letter is an attestation that the candidate is mature, can operate within a corporate environment, has accomplished things, is a good team player. It can come from, let's say, your employer. It can come from a colleague. It can come from a university professor. So basically someone who can basically, talk about your strengths and also, if relevant, weaknesses and how you overcome them. But basically just we try to get a feel for the whole person, not just somebody who's a good worker, but also a good team player, leadership characteristics, open-minded, curious, etc.
Okay, in the same sense, we have a question regarding the good applicants. What makes a difference in an application file? What would be your tips for a good application?
Okay, in addition to making certain the application file is complete, in other words, all of the documents which Mario just enumerated are well enclosed in the application file. Basically, again, what I'm looking for is somewhat reflective in terms of what I want to see in a letter of recommendation. Someone who is open, who's curious, who, shall we say, is not arrogant, but confident in himself or herself. Someone who has perhaps traveled and is used to different cultures, and if not, is eager to begin that journey, because part of the Monaco MBA journey is really, learning to work with people from vastly different backgrounds. And that's part of the key learning, I'd say, because, all of the recruitment agencies, all of the research in terms of what headhunters are looking for, the functional skills are given. If you've done an MBA, you should know how to read a balance sheet. You should understand the marketing strategy and the 4 Ps and etc. But what people are really looking for in terms of recruiters and headhunters are people who have, who shall we say, are open to the world, who are willing to listen to opinions that are different from theirs, and maybe not accept the opinions, but at least listen to them and understand the strong points. And they can still be able to disagree, but in a way which is professional and collegial. I think this is beginning to be very, very important in today's world, where there's so much polarization and antagonism sometimes, and we try to avoid that. And most of the candidates we have, as Mario said, they come from every continent. If we have 2 Americans in a class of 25, the American is sort of the dominant, shall we say, population. So, because we only have 1 from every other nationality. So, looking certainly for accomplishment. It doesn't have to be accomplishment necessarily in something purely managerial in the traditional sense of, I've been working in a company for 4 years or something like that. That's obviously wonderful. But also, if you're a professional athlete, has incredible discipline, incredible motivation, so those are key leadership traits, quite honestly. And anyone who wants to succeed as a leader or a top manager needs to have discipline, needs to have motivation, needs to know how to motivate the team around them, etc. Same, we've had ballet dancers as well. So basically, it's a question of seeing ambition, motivation, curiosity, and openness to different viewpoints, because these are essential in today's work environment.
Okay, thanks, Marika. A question now regarding, can you do a little summary maybe about the main differences between the full-time and the part-time programs?
Sure. Okay, so the full-time is residential. It's too difficult to follow a full-time program, shall we say, online or in distance mode. So it's residential. You'll basically be taking, for instance, in the fall term, 7 courses in the fall term, which seems like a lot. 3 of those courses are 30-hour courses. 1 of them is a 15-hour course. So it's shall we say, fairly intensive, but again, it's very manageable. If you do it in part-time mode, basically your workload is halved. So the first year you're taking 4 courses, the second year you're taking 3 courses in that fall term. And the same principle and methodology applies to the spring term. I won't go into the spring term because it's a much longer term, begins in January, ends at the end of June. So there are many, shall we say, mini terms in it. So the workload is going to be different, certainly. So part-time, half the workload, otherwise why do a part-time? In terms of interacting, the groups that I create and that you're in the spring term able to create yourselves, if you like, are a combination of full-time and part-time students. So it's not like one group is isolated from the other group. You're going to be interacting with each other throughout, because it's one MBA that you get at the end. It doesn't say part-time MBA, full-time, it's just the Monaco MBA. Again, the part-time program, many who follow the part-time program are based abroad. The structure will be that you are able to participate synchronously, given the scheduling of the classes. We try our best to do that. So again, as I mentioned, it's not a purely online program. We don't do an online MBA at IUM, but you're able to follow it online in real time. Let's put it that way. And if you're also a part-time student, there are 4 weeks over those 2 years when you do have to be here physically present in Monaco, which is not a bad thing to do. And typically it's the first week, which is the orientation week, which is the end of September. This year it starts September 30th, I believe. Orientation week, some classes will begin, some courses will begin, special events, get-togethers, etc. There's another week will be in January, mid-January typically, and that's what we call the mentorship networking cocktail week, when you get to meet your mentors. And again, it's also built around personal and professional development. There are going to be seminars around those themes. The next week is a week in May coming up, and that's dedicated to entrepreneurship and business planning. And it also sort of focuses on the MARC Challenge, which is a business school, business plan competition open to undergraduate, MBAs, and also young entrepreneurs who have just set up their businesses around the world. It was initiated by IUM 11 years ago. It's become exceedingly successful. And the theme is typically around luxury and premium goods and services. And the finals are held in May at the Monaco Yacht Club, and the MBA students are invited to that event to participate basically in the judging as well as the public, and also the environment at the Monaco Yacht Club. And the final masterclass week is the business simulation week, and that's typically at the end of June. And while we say you have a choice in terms of which weeks you want to attend, we really insist that you show up for the first week, unless there's some kind of special visa issue or something like that. And the business simulation, the last masterclass week, you can only participate in it at the end of your second year of studies. So I mean, those are the 2 key provisos, because otherwise you won't have the skills yet to be able to do the business simulation and succeed. Okay, but those are the 4 weeks that you must be physically present in Monaco if you are a part-time student. Of course, if you're a full-time student, you're going to be here anyway, because it's a given.
Okay, thank you, Marika. You just mentioned visa, actually. So basically, I would like to know, well, one student would like to know if he can apply without having a visa, actually. And maybe this question would be for Mario, so that you can tell us about the student services.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you definitely can apply. Actually, you won't be able to get a visa without being admitted at IUM. But the good thing is that when you are admitted, you'll be put in contact with the student services. They will share you immediately the student guide, which is a very complete document explaining you which kind of documents you need to have before meeting the consulate, which kind of visa you need to apply for. So all the conditions for a successful appointment and for a successful visa. I would say the largest part of our students do not have problems. They follow the instruction they receive. And so you can receive help and counseling. Then, of course, it's a personal process. But in the end, you need to be accepted at first, so you can receive our certificate of admission and our visa letter, that are documents required by the consulates to receive your request.
Thank you, Mario. So basically, we have a question now regarding the interview. So one of you wonders when he can have an interview if he already applied. So basically, I cannot see your name because you're shown as anonymous. But if you send us your application, you will be very, very quickly contacted, very shortly contacted, to set up an interview. And Marika, well, when I say shortly, it will be within the next 2 days, so it will be quick. And Marika, we have a question regarding the program itself.
Mm-hmm.
How does it foster a collaborative learning environment?
Okay, a very good question as well. Several reasons. First of all, as I said, there is group work that is mandatory. The other factor is that we deliberately want to have a small cohort. In other words, we don't want more than 30 students. So if you have a small cohort in the MBA, students will collaborate much more naturally with each other. and with, let's say, the faculty, the mentors, etc. So students tend to collaborate basically because it's easy to do it. I mean, I've been in business schools where you have 200 students in an MBA program. It's not collaborative, it's highly competitive. If you have a smaller group, it becomes naturally more collaborative because everybody knows everyone. And they basically hang out together and they work on projects together. And we also give a lot of, shall we say, hands-on projects. So within a certain course, you might have a project let's say in the marketing course, there might be a company that needs a marketing plan. So you work on the marketing plan within a course and also with the Monaco business community as well. So it's collaborative in the sense that you collaborate in group work, you collaborate also with the Monaco business community because there are projects done here in Monaco, and we try to ensure as well that that students also have time to get together and to enjoy many of the events in Monaco, which we give them access to. So it all serves as an environment where everybody knows each other, everybody respects each other's differences, and I think everybody tries to be able to adapt to differences as well. So some business schools are very, very competitive. Of course, we have competitive students. Anybody who wants to do an MBA is by nature competitive because you're trying to advance yourself. You're trying to build a business, earn more money, climb the corporate ladder. These are all competitive aspects of ambition. But it's a healthy competition. And I've noticed that the students in the Monaco MBA, they really begin to form friendships and they help each other out. So that's something intrinsic, I believe, to the fact that we're a smaller school, and also intrinsic to the fact that we encourage quite a bit of group work as well.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Marika. Thank you, guys, for attending this event dedicated to the MBA program at IUM and for your questions and your attention. As I said, sorry.
Sorry to interrupt, Mario. Maybe just a few words about the scholarships we offer for the 5 Continents Scholarship.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Which we have just launched, actually. If you want to introduce it.
Yes, of course. We normally have a merit-based scholarship, but this is a special one scholarship because it's dedicated to students coming from all 5. We selected 5 continents from all over the world. There's going to be one winner. There's a form to be filled in after you've been admitted to the MBA program, and it's a special scholarship going up to 8,000 euros for each winner. So it's quite relevant amount that will let you, let's say, face this participation more at ease, especially if you're coming from far away. The thing is that you need to apply pretty quickly because submission is May 15 for your application request. This was your scholarship request. So it's a quite simple form, but complete you need to fill in once you're admitted. 8,000 euros, one winner per each continent. Thank you, Dre, for remembering this. It's quite important. Thank you, Marika, for your presentation.
Thank you, Mario.
And guys, I'll be following up with all of you. Let's stay in contact. My email is also in the chat if you want to copy it. And as I said, it's time to think of it seriously and maybe finalize your application in case you're interested to secure your place in the next intake. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.